FPL, a game where you go up against your friends, picking players from your favourite teams, watching football games that you would never have watched before, trying to discover those hidden gems so you can flex in the group chat. Engaging, competitive, rewarding, or, and hear me out, you can just have a computer run your team for you. Utter woke nonsense. Welcome to FPL Mate, my name is Dan. Today, Fantasy Premier League have announced the introduction of a new tool coming to the game this year. The FPL app and website will be launching an AI assistant manager to help with decision making. Now, this isn't a particularly new idea. Third-party websites and apps have been offering this kind of thing for the last year or two. These are usually paid for services aimed at engaged managers to aid in decision making. There are probably a few thousand people already using tools like this to help with their FPL teams, and even fewer relying on these tools to literally make every decision for them. Now, please don't mistake this for me saying that only people who can afford these tools should have access to them, but something that I definitely am saying is that for the entire player base of FPL to have access to them, this is probably a bad thing. And I find it bizarre that despite all of the features that the fantasy football community have been crying out for over recent years, better prizes, servers that don't crash 5 minutes before deadline, a million other great ideas that I'm sure you guys have as well. For the second season in a row, they have decided to throw all of their budget into implementing something that's literally nobody asked for. If you thought the assistant manager was confusing, overcooked, and counterintuitive to the way FPL has previously been played, well, the latest bright idea from the FPL kitchen is no better. Did they cook this time? No, they did not. Sometimes I do wonder if anyone working at FPL Towers actually plays FPL, or if they're just maybe paid to come up with these ideas that sound cool to shareholders who also don't play the game. I wonder if they actually listen to the community of millions, or do they have other motivations? So let me give you 3 reasons why the AI Assistant Manager is FPL's worst new feature yet, and finally how understanding this AI tool might actually be a good thing for engaged managers this season. As always, I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comments, and if we all agree it's a bad thing, maybe we can use our voices to stop this feature from being implemented, or at least like hinder it a little bit. So reason why the AI assistant manager is a bad thing number 1, and that's the enjoyment factor. Fantasy sports games have been a fun companion to spectatorships for decades. When you watch your favorite football team, you go on this roller coaster of emotions, particularly if you're an Arsenal fan like me. The roller coaster often stops on the tracks before the end of the season, but when you play FPL, you have that roller coaster, but it's personal to you. You do your research, you watch the games, you pick your players, and hopefully you reap the rewards personally. And this is why I love FPL. AI influence can remove a lot of that fun. It takes away from the personal element from your team and instead creates a determined script that you might have to follow each week. I do understand that some people don't play FPL for fun, by the way. Some people only play for money, gambling within mini leagues. I could do an entire video on that, but that's something for another day. Some people who play FPL aren't interested in football too. Maybe they've just been invited to the work mini league and they just want to compete, again, usually for prizes. For those people, this tool is actually going to be great, but for the rest of us, knowing that we will essentially be competing against an army of robots who genuinely aren't interested in thinking for themselves, it creates this divide, which brings me to my next reason. Reason number 2, the template, the dreaded template. Now, it's no secret that the template has become a frustration in recent years. A small subset of players are disproportionately picked for FPL teams, and daring to pick a player or two from outside this predetermined template of FPL is becoming a big risk. Now, I fully accept that I'm probably a small part of the problem. The oversaturation of FPL content on YouTube, Twitter, wherever else. I try to be a little differential myself sometimes, to varying degrees of success. I also try and encourage people to not copy my team, but that's probably not good enough. But what is certain is that this AI tool will make the template stronger, more rigid. There will be more people picking from a smaller pool of players going forward. And what's going to happen is this tool is going to be running one set of data. So it will essentially be giving the same advice to 11 million FPL managers, recommending the same players to 11 million FPL managers. Now, that's going to make these mini leagues that we're all competing in feel very stale because everyone is picking from a pool of maybe 20 players out of the hundreds available for their team. And it means if you do want to take decision making into your own hands, you have to play the game differently. So, for example, if I don't know, if Florian Wirtz is the AI recommendation of the week. Millions of managers are being recommended Florian Wirtz and will be buying him for their FPL teams. Now, if you pick someone else and your player does well, amazing. But if it goes badly, Florian Wirtz does absolutely amazing. Your player does pretty poorly. Well, it can really, really become a bad thing. This can definitely happen. You know, FPL is a game with a big luck element. Even if you think your player is a better pick than the Florian Wirtz example, then it can still fail. And if it does fail, well, you're going to lose out to millions of FPL managers who would have never picked Wirtz had it not been for the AI tool's advice. Variety is the spice of life and the spice of FPL, in my opinion. And I think that really, that reducing of that variety is probably going to be a bad thing. Like I said, I don't want mini leagues to become stale. I want us to pick from the variety of players available to us, and any convergence into a few players, I think is going to be a bad thing. Finally, reason number 3, a reward. This is probably the most controversial reason, so hear me out. But I find FPL personally to be a pretty rewarding experience, at least when it goes well, which is not all the time, granted. Now, when you do your own research and pick out a player that does well, it's a really nice feeling. Like with any other game, the more I put in, the more I get out. The more experienced I am, the more I can improve at the game. You get out what you put in. Now, this creates something called a skill gap. This is a gaming terminology here. Skill gap, where the best players of a game are rewarded for their efforts by being better at the game. Now, there isn't really a way to talk about the skill gap without sounding like a whiny baby. I totally get that. But let me give you an example. So I play a lot of video games. One game I am very bad at is Rocket League. I don't know if you guys have played Rocket League before, but guys, I suck at it. I've tried it. I have had some fun playing in the casual modes, but if I play competitively, I am going to get my ass handed to me every game like I'm Southampton 2024-25. If there was an AI tool that automatically allowed me to play Rocket League for 5 minutes per week and still compete with the best of the best, hell yeah, I am using that tool. But like, do I deserve it? Do I deserve to be rewarded for such little effort? And will I even find that rewarding? I don't even know. To those who are, who've spent maybe a decade playing the game, who put hours of effort in every week, do they deserve to lose their competitive edge? I don't think they do. I do think it's a shame in all walks of life that human effort and accomplishment is being replaced by computer software kind of just doing it for you. And this isn't even about me. I've played FPL competitively for maybe 5, 6, 7 years. There are people out there who have been playing for decades. I don't consider myself an expert of FPL, but there are others who I genuinely would consider experts. And I think it's a shame that these people, including many of you guys watching, you're going to be rewarded less and less as the years go by. Now, maybe it's just my opinion, but I like a skill gap. I like games that reward effort, that reward expertise. But I also appreciate there are probably a lot of people who play games more casually, just like me with Rocket League, that will take advantage of every opportunity they can to close the skill gap. The only difference is with other games, using bot software is against the rules and can get you banned. With FPL, it's going to be encouraged. And I don't particularly want Kim in HR to beat me in the work mini league because a robot told them what to do. I want to finish this video a little less dramatically. I mean, come on, guys. We all love a bit of drama and reaction, YouTube entertainment. It's what it's all about. But everything in this video is my genuine concern, but it might not actually be that bad, at least not at first. Have you guys ever tried to ask ChatGPT what to do with your FPL team just for a bit of fun? The advice it gives is often hilariously bad. Where's Fotheringham in goal, anyone? If the technology is fit for purpose and gets better, we could be in trouble. But for now, going against a weak AI advice might actually give an advantage to those of us actually wanting to use our brains. And I also want to say, I don't actually think AI advice is always a bad thing. I don't think AI in general is always a bad thing, as long as it's used as kind of advice as a supplement and not literal instruction. I don't know how people will engage with this tool, and maybe the majority of people will only use the suggestions as suggestions, and maybe not even use them at all the time. I don't know. But at the end of the day, FPL is just one of many fantasy games. For those of you who enjoy a skill gap, I've really been enjoying Club World Cup Fantasy, and I found that really rewarding. There are also other games to play, other fantasy games to play. There's also draft mode as well, which is hugely popular in the US. Like it's the go-to fantasy mode in the US, because it really does give you that more personal experience, that personally rewarding experience. And all I know is I love fantasy football generally, and I want it to remain fun. I want it to remain varied, and I want it to remain rewarding. And if it were up to me, I would just love one season of FPL without an asterisk attached to it, and for Erling Haaland to be the one and only robot in my team. Let me know what you think, guys, about this tool. Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? How is it going to impact things? Am I wrong? You know, I'm sure I am, and I'm sure the comments, it's going to be an absolute war zone today. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say. Feel free to share the video around if you want to, but most importantly, if you don't want this feature, let FPL know. Email them, tweet them, whatever. If you think the game we all know and love is in any real danger of cannibalizing itself, remember, you have a voice, and maybe, just maybe, we can save FPL from itself. And one more thing, guys, I'll be dropping a video very soon on the changes I think FPL should make. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later, mates. Bye-bye.